Women Reservation Bill, Nari Shakti Bandhan Adhiniyam 2023. So in this session, we are going to discuss in details about this Women's Reservation Bill, the arguments in favor and the arguments against, and also the possible way forward. So let's start this discussion. Now, if you see the journey of the Women's Reservation Bill, this is not new. Even in the 1996 Women Reservation Bill first introduced in the Parliament, then 1998 to 2003 NDA government tables the bill 4 times, but it fails, means without success. Then in 2009, UPA government tables bill amidst the loud protest by RJD, SP, and JDU. Many members were there, many leaders were there who are protesting against this bill. Then in February 2010, Union Cabinet approves this bill. March 2010, Rajya Sabha passes this bill. November 2014, bill expected to be tabled in Lok Sabha. Favorable signals from the ruling party. Now, let's come to the current hour discussion. The Indian government introduced this Constitution 128 Amendment Bill 2023 aimed at providing 33% reservation to women in the Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies. Remember, not in Rajya Sabha. Now let's have an overview of this reservation provisions. The bill proposes to reserve 1/3 of the seats in the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies for women, including those belonging to scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Got it? Then some constitutional amendments, like a previous bill from 2010. This one also introduces new articles 330A and 332A in the Constitution to affect these changes because of this reservation, right? Then one sunset clause. Sunset clause means what? This bill will be applicable for 15 years from the Act's commencement. Once this bill turns into Act, then there will this particular reservation will be applicable for 15 years. Okay. After that, again, new discussion and again need to be passed. So then only the reservation will be extended. As you know, all know, I hope, previously, initially, means we had the reservation for Anglo-Indians, right? Now this has been removed. Can you tell me by which constitutional amendment the reservation for Anglo-Indian been removed? If you can, then you can comment the answer. Now, we already looked that currently we have 543 members, out of them 82 women. Then if this bill turn into act, there will be 181 female members. Okay, now political reservation of women. Let's have a look on this. During the national movement, the 3 women bodies sent a letter to the British Prime Minister in 1931 seeking political reservation for women. So the means demand for women reservation is not a new case. Even before the independence in the year 1931, it's been demanded. Then in Constituent Assembly, the issue of women reservation also came up in this Constituent Assembly debate. However, it was rejected on the grounds that a democracy is expected to give representation to all groups equally. Okay, so that's why that time this woman reservation issue been rejected in the Constituent Assembly debates. Then the Committee of the Status of Women in India 1971 and the National Perspective Plan for Women in 1988. Both these committees recommended the reservation for women in the local bodies. Got it now? The Committee of the Status of Women in India 1971 and the National Perspective Plan of Women in 1988, they demand the reservation of women in the local bodies. And because of their demands, or because of their recommendation, we had the 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, which mandate all the state governments to reserve 1/3 of the seats for women in the local bodies. Local bodies means I'm talking about panchayats. Okay, I hope you know about that. So municipalities, panchayat. So in panchayat, you have 1/3 seats reserved for women. So this is not new that women reservation is being demanded, or women reservation is already there, because we already have women reservation in local government or local self-government. Now you have to remember that two bodies name, means two committees name: the Committee of the Status of Women 1971, National Perspective Plan for Women 1988. And they implied 73rd and 74th constitutional amendment, and then 1/3 reservation for women in the local bodies. Now we also have some state parties which have women reservation already there. And because of that women reservation, they are seeing some kind of positive impact, like the the probability of a woman candidate winning is much higher than the same of the male counterpart. Like I already told you that we have women reservation in some state parties. Biju Janata Dal of Odisha, Trinamool Congress of West Bengal, they have seats set aside for female candidates in the elections. Okay, so this is a brief history about this. Now, there is a system being discussed and debated. This is rotational system or rotation system. And now, what is this rotation system purpose? This bill also incorporates a rotation system for the reserve seats. Rotation by the term itself means what? Rotating means not fixed, it's moving, right? Under this system, the reserved seats for women would rotate among different constituencies in the successive elections. The goal is to prevent the concentration of reserved seats in specific areas for constituencies, and to ensure that women from various regions have the opportunity to participate in the political process. I hope it is clear to you now that only one specific place women are getting the benefits. This is not the case if the rotation system is there. It will be moved from place to place, and that will provide, in fact, the opportunity of all the women from various regions get the same opportunity to participate in the political process. Now, preventing monopoly, this rotation, there are some advantages of this rotation system. One, you got it already, that equal opportunity will be there. Then second is preventing monopoly. The rotation system prevents the creation of a permanent women's quota in specific regions, which could lead to a concentration of women representatives from those areas. Rotating the reserve seats encourages geographic diversity in women's representation. See, geographic diversity in women's representation. Why? Because this rotation enables those reservation to be moved from place to place. So in turn, different places women mean different diversities will be there, and they are getting the representation. So it will automatically prevent monopoly of one region or one particular women's quota in specific regions. It will be rotated, right? So all will get that opportunity, and thereby it will encourage geographic diversity in women's representation. Then demographic diversity. In addition to geographic diversity, the rotation system also promotes demographic diversity among women representatives. What does it mean? It means that it ensures that women from different communities, backgrounds, and social groups have the chance to represent their constituencies over the time. As I have said, that geographical diversity means different places. Similarly, if different places are there, different races may be there, different communities may be there, different social groups will be there, and all will get the chance to represent their constituencies over the time. Okay, then fairness and inclusivity. By avoiding the permanent allocation of seats to specific constituencies, the rotation system promotes fairness and inclusivity in women's political representation. It allows women from a wide range of backgrounds to participate in the political process. If it was fixed, if it is fixed, then only it will restrict that only one particular background's women will participate, they will win, and they will represent only that same class. But now it is not the same. It will allow wide range of background, because different places, different women, and different women means different backgrounds they are having, and thereby will have women from diverse background to participate in the political process. So these are the benefits of rotation system. Now, what are the arguments in favor of the bill? Increase in the political representation of women. Obviously, this will be the first argument in favor, because according to the Inter-Parliamentary Union Women in Parliament Report 2021, India ranks lower than 140 other nations in terms of the number of women serving in their national legislatures. See, this is a very it's a matter of same, because India having so great representation, so known all over the world, with having a greater democracy, right? So in this democracy where women's population almost half, but our rank is lower than 140 other nation in terms of women candidates in the legislatures. This is a matter of shame. So we need to increase the number of women. Even though the representation of women in Lok Sabha has increased post-independence, 16% around in the 17 Lok Sabha, India is behind a number of countries like Africa and South Africa, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. So you can see these countries have more number of women in their respective legislature than us. So we need to increase the participation, and this bill will help us to do that. Then, step towards the decriminalization of politics. Reserved seats for women would help in decriminalization of Indian politics. In the present Lok Sabha, 159 MPs have declared serious criminal cases against them, including those of rape, murder, attempt to murder, kidnapping, crimes against women. See, this number of MPs have such type of serious criminal cases against them. They are even having the record of rape, murder. So how could you expect from those MPs a kind of respect towards women? How could you expect that this type of MPs policy making will reduce the number of criminal cases against women? So we need more number of women in our parliament, so that we need more number of women in the legislature, so that they will frame the policy in such a way that they will reduce such type of criminalization, right? Then addressing crime against women, the same thing. If this woman reservation bill will come into take into place, then that will help in addressing crime against women in the society, because only women can understand the problems of women, and they will represent them better than the male counterparts. Obviously, male can also do the thing, but you can see the issue that today we have. So we can expect that the number of crimes will be reduced if more number of women in the legislature. In fact, we know our India, specifically North India, Delhi, these places are known for the number of rape cases, right? In fact, many times we have seen in the news that Delhi has been termed as the rape capital of the world. So such a shameful means this regard towards our national capital. So we have to address these issues, right? We have to save our means sister, our daughters, our mothers, and for that we need to reduce the crime against women. And rape cases and domestic abuse cases will decrease with the increased representation of women. We can expect that. We can hope that, right? Increasing the number of seats commensurately with the vote share. Though the women's vote share has increased, the number of women in the positions of politics has not increased commensurately. Women in India vote at par with men, but their representation is very low as compared to men. Reserve seats will bring some parity between the vote share of women and their representation in the parliament and assemblies. So vote share will also be encouraged. Then breaking the patriarchal mold of Indian politics, we know that our India or Indian politics is known for its patriarchal behavior, right? Indian politics has been patriarchal with top party positions and positions of power have been occupied by male only. But now we can see a sense that our president is female, right? That too from a Dalit community. So the situation being changed and situation is improving. But women reservation bill will further means contribute towards the positive or you can say further improvise the situations. This will dismantle this patriarchal nature of Indian politics by increasing women representation in the top posts of political parties. We here or today we have only 2, 3, 4, 5, like we can count the number of top positions of women are like single digits. We want more of women in the top posts. So this bill will help to bring that. Then changing the stereotypes, increasing women politician will help in changing the stereotype image of women as only homemakers, and there will be gradual acceptance of women as lawmakers. In many places, or in fact, in the whole India, although we have some states where women's being respected or women's have some leadership positions like Meghalaya, or these states are having a very good representation of women. But in maximum places of India, women are considered as the homemakers only, or the ones who are only for kitchen. This view need to be changed. This stereotype need to be changed. If this bill being passed, they will be means I'm talking about those so-called patriarchal society will be gradually accepting women as lawmakers also, not just the kitchen or the ones who make more kitchens or the ones only homemakers. This view will be changed. Then improvement of economic performance and infrastructure. According to UN University, women's legislators improved the economic performance of their constituencies 1.8% more than the male legislators. Evaluation of Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana shows the share of incomplete road project is 22% points lower in female-led constituencies. See, so women are always known for their care nature. Because of their caring nature, they have the tendency to make the things better. You can see this result. Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Those constituencies which are female-led have a comparatively better situation or comparatively better success ratio than those the male counterparts are leading. Right. So obviously, women will understand only about their problems. Like, you know, why our female students leaving the school at an earlier age? Why they are dropping the schools? Because if you go to the rural area, or many even urban areas also, you will see the pathetic conditions of the toilets. They don't have the proper toilet. They don't have the proper infrastructure for that. Then how could you expect a good number of women participation in the education system? Even in the other cases also. So women will improve the economic performance and infrastructure if they will be given that chance of leading the legislation constituency, or they will get the chance to lead the constituencies. These are the favors, arguments in favor. Now let's come to the argument against. we can see that our opposition parties, they ask for some arguments, they ask or they stand for some arguments against. Like the first one is that no separate OBC sorry, reservation. The bill provides separate reservation to scheduled caste and scheduled tribes women within the existing quota of 1/3 reservation of seats. But what about the OBC? However, you see that OBC women, which constitute 60% of women population, have not been provided separate reservation within the quota. This means it is talking about quota under quota or quota, sub-quota under quota. Reservation is there for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes women in this bill under that 1/3 reservation. But we also have OBC women that constitute 60% of the women population. So if the reservation is given, then why such inequality? Give it to all. Make it quota under quota. So this type of arguments against the women reservation bill. Okay, the next argument is like that, argument against no reservation in the Rajya Sabha and Legislative Council. I already told you this bill is providing the reservation only in the Lok Sabha and the state assemblies, not in Rajya Sabha and legislative council. Why? They are asking about that why no reservation of women in Rajya Sabha and legislative councils. Then enactment of the bill. Reservation for women in parliament depends on the census and delimitation process. However, the census has been delayed and delimitation could be politically sensitive, especially impacting the southern India that has seen slower population growth due to the development progress. You know about the delimitation process. I also discuss about this delimitation process in details. So delimitation process totally based on the number of population. That the number of populations actually draws the or redraws the boundaries. And this reservation also depends on those redrawing of the boundaries or the number of constituencies, or you can say that the as a whole delimitation process. But if you compare the population, then southern India is comparatively having population comparatively lesser than the North India. So that may that may impose some kind of inequality or some kind of slower less reservation of women in the reservation bill. I mean, it is in this reservation process than those in the northern India. You got it now what I mean to say? In the southern India, because of the, not only in the southern India, if you can consider the northeastern part also, their population is comparatively lesser than the other parts like UP and then Bihar. So what happened to those constituencies where lesser number of constituencies are there because of the lesser number of women populations? So that is also a kind of thing that we have to reconsider, we have to rethink. Then use of women as proxies. You know, Panchayat Pati. We already have reservation in Panchayat. 1/3% reservation in the Panchayat. But if you go into the into the reality, you can see that Panchayat Pati problem is there, where women reservation is there, where women reservation in the Panchayat, that particular seat is reserved for women. But although the election being won by the woman, that you will see that her husband or her brother is there in place of her. Means her brother or her husband is actually ruling those things and getting those powers. So what is the meaning of such kind of reservation if woman is not representing, although she has won the seat? So women being used as proxies. So the fears is that we might witness the evolution of MP and MLA parties. Right now we have Panchayat Patis or Panchpati or Panchayat Patis or Panchayat like this type of things. But if this bill could turn into act, then we might witness the evolution of MP and MLA parties with extension of reservation to women in parliament, and you cannot deny this, right? Then against the principle of equality enshrined in the Constitution, opponents of women reservation argue that the idea runs counter to the principle of equality enshrined in the Constitution. The bill can perpetuate the unequal status of women since they would not be perceived to be competing on merit. There may be a case like that women are not as means you can say as strong as, or you can say women are not equal to men. That's why they may be considered as comparatively less competent than men. That's why the reservation is being given. So this type of thinking, or this type of what we can say argument also turn into take place in near future if this bill turn into act. This may happen, right? Women not homogeneous group like caste group. Women are not a homogeneous community unlike a caste group. As a result, the same arguments used to justify the caste-based reservation cannot be used to justify reservation for women. Women's interests cannot be isolated from other social, economical, and political strata. See, OBC means OBC, SC means SC, ST means ST. They are homogeneous. But you cannot say, or you cannot ensure the same type of homogeneity among the women reservation. They may be different, or you cannot what I mean to say that you cannot put the same argument to justify the women reservation that you can put for the caste-based reservation. Women are different, right? So difference in the sense that they are not homogeneous group. So this is also a case. Then restriction of choice of voters. The reservation of seats for women would restrict the choice of voters. Opponents of the bill have suggested alternate methods like reservation of women in political parties and dual member constituencies, where constituencies will have 2 MPs, with one of them being a woman. Means what happens if one particular constituency has women? Then some voters may don't like for that, or they may have some restriction on their choice. So in place of that, what other things or other alternative way is that to give reservation of women in the political parties, not as a whole Lok Sabha or state assemblies. Suppose we have a party like X, we know we have Congress, BJP like these parties, but I'm talking about say X. In under X, specify some seats specifically for women. I mean, those seats will be filled only by women candidates, and then it is okay, right? And also dual member constituencies means 2 MPs will be there, one will be woman, other will be man, or whatever. Okay. So this can be done. So these are the arguments in favor and in against. Right now we have talked about against ones, and yes, we have already talked about the in favor of that. Now, what will be the way forward? Of course, the consensus building, because only a consensus, you know, now we will take the arguments, or we'll take the feedbacks of everyone, and let's see how many of them are in favor and how many of them are against. So in that way, consensus can pave the way for the bills passes through the legislative bodies. Then public awareness should be there. Raising the public awareness is essential to generate support for the bill. And that can be done through public campaigns, seminars, workshops, social media campaigns, and highlighting the positive impact of the increased female representation in politics and contribution to a more inclusive and diverse government can help build this public support. Then advocacy, women's rights organization, activities, civil society groups, they can also play a vital role for advocating the bills. We need some such type of women rights organization who can stand for this bill, because you see, this is a bill. Then we have no idea how much time it will take to turn into egg. Because you see, we already have seen that this is not the first time this type of reservation bill for women being introduced. Initially, earlier also it is being introduced, but what happened? It turned into failure. So we have totally no idea that how much time it will take to turn into egg or for a successful passage of this bill. Someone is saying like by 2027, by 2028. So we need to hurry up this process. We need to make this process faster. For this, we need involvement of civil societies, women rights organization activities, so that they can play a vital role for advocating this bill. Then addressing concerns, like it's important to acknowledge and address the concerns raised by political parties that may oppose the bill, because in that way a proper research can be expected on this bill. That yes, if we give quota under quota, means suppose OBC quota under this reserve 33% reservation, then what will happen? What will be the plus point? What will be the negative point? This type of thorough research is needed, right? So we need to address the concern of the opposition or the arguments in against also. Now, in addition to women reservation bill, India needs to implement some reforms in the political empowerment of women. See, if women reservation is there, as we have seen in case of the panchayat, we have the situation like sarpanch pati or panchayat pati, sarpanch bhai or panchayat bhai, like this type of situation. So women should be made aware. They should be given technical knowledge about their position, about the powers or their responsibilities of their position. You know, she is the sense maker. This type of campaign introduced by that means introduced to give awareness about women's positions, means women's positions, responsibilities, and their tasks. Yes or no? So this type of campaign, like she is the sense maker, or this type of another such type of awareness campaign being required to give awareness or to give enough knowledge to the women, so that they can better utilize their position, so that they can better means contribute towards the policy making process, so that in turn we can expect a good impact on the women society of India as a whole, right? So for that, institutionalization of intra-party democracy for wider pool of women candidates. Just a few minutes back, I told you that in the party itself, place or means reserve some seats for women candidates only, say 20 seats, like that. Those will be filled up by women candidates only. Okay, then promotion for women participation at panchayat level through strengthening women self-help groups. This will ensure able women candidates for MP MLA elections. Means we need to have some participation from self-help group that can strengthen women at the panchayat level and as a whole at the MP MLA elections. Okay, then strengthening women's agencies and organization for building a progressive society with equality of opportunities among all citizens. So these are the way forwards that should be taken into concern, that should be taken into consider while going for such discussion on this women reservation bill. Because without a thorough research, without a proper debate, we cannot expect something good from a bill that is being instantly passed, or that is being means only passed but not advocating the changes or demands of the higher number of people or higher number of members. Because if a thorough discussion is there, then only it can bring a change to a greater number of parties, greater number of women, right? The greater number of not women, that greater number of the society, right? So this way forwards, I think that they have to consider. We have to talk about whenever we have been asked that what are the possibility, what are the means suggestion that you want to put forward in support of the bill, or you can say in to make this type of women reservation bill far better or performing more real. Okay, so with this I am ending this session. Obviously this session is a turns into means more lengthier than I expected, but I hope that with this long session I'm able to put forward some points which will help you to digest this topic and put forward your own points or arguments on this topic. Okay. So we use the comment section. We'll have a discussion. Thank you. Bye-bye.